here. And here goes the encoder. And you are good to go.
Hey, Chels.
Hey, Stace.
If you thought next month was going to be better than June, guess what? July!
Stacey. You did lie.
Dang it, 2020.
Did you hear they found some like mysterious thing in the middle of the earth? And all I'm thinking is, don't touch it.
Hello. It's the core or hell.
Dave, play that track for us.
Why? You're so fabulous. Yeah, I'm single, ready to mingle. Yeah, I'm single. These are the reasons why I'm single.
I had like a delay on my internet connection, and so it was faster over here. It was funny. It was like remix.
Right? These are the reasons why I'm single.
He's gonna miss you.
I miss you.
I have to apologize, everyone. I have real sexy summer voice going on right now. It's been a while. I'm officially full-time back at work. And we are very full-time. I'm a new person in my chair every 20 minutes. And then I worked karaoke last night where I'm singing all night. And for that, you guys get this lovely, sexy voice.
Ooh,
So-
y'all. I don't know if you're ready for this right now. So, my name's Stacy. That's Chelsea. And this is some sexy reasons why I'm single.
How are you, Stace? How you been? I'm trying to share our podcast posting thing. That's why I'm not giving you eye contact.
You listen, your tote's fine. No, I'm doing okay. I'm not gonna lie. End of day Friday hit, and all of a sudden I just felt very claustrophobic and I had to get out of the house. So I just took like a really long walk around the neighborhood. I was like, I just need to be outside. Like, I've never had that hit me before. So it's like, I just need outdoors.
I completely get that. Like it's going, we're going a little crazy out here, and it's very hot. The first week back, our air conditioning at the store broke twice. And,
come on.
And I'm not good in the heat. Like that's the understatement of the century.
Like most creatures.
I think I actually told my boyfriend, I was like, if you can keep me from getting overheated, because if I get overheated, then I'm like the before in the Snickers commercial.
Yes. Yes. You turn into Betty White when you're hungry.
Mad.
First of all, love Betty White.
First of all, adore.
J'adore.
Yeah, j'adore Betty White. J'adore.
Sorry,
But,
my bad.
But yeah, no, so the first day, and then I have to wear a mask and a shield because I'm about this far away from people's faces, and it's for them and me, and then I gotta wear gloves, and then the heat goes, as we all know when we're wearing the masks, if you have glasses, like the heat goes up from your nose and fogs the glasses, so the heat gets trapped by the shield and then fogs, so then I have to like tilt back so that I can see their eyebrows. And so that's not really helping my like not crabby in the heat thing. And then the thing that sucks is like, some people might not realize about stores is that stores don't actually have heat. They have the lights are hot enough that they heat the store. So even in the middle of winter, the air conditioning is the only thing that's running. So the heat broke for the second time that week. And when we left the store that night, it was 84 in the store. And by the time we came in on July 4th, it was 91. And then and then by the time the guy actually came for like an emergency fix it thing, it was 93 or 94 in the store. So it was to the point where like we were a preheated oven. Like
That's awful.
Oh my God. So true story. I'm a terrible human being.
No.
The downtown Detroit studio, our cleaning lady, Danielle, she's fabulous. I had her go do Detroit and Northville because we're getting ready to reopen and all that fun stuff. And
And we
I
can't wait to see you, literally.
yeah.
Great.
So I thought I had left the downtown studio is inside Detroit Shipping Company. So it's literally our studio is
we've
inside a
been there. It's
big metal
beautiful.
box, big shipping container.
Yeah.
And I thought I had left our we have our own dedicated like AC and heating unit inside. It's like an all-in-one thing. Very
Yeah.
cool. And I thought I left it on the variable setting so that it would either go hot or cold as needed to keep the studio right at about 76 degrees. I did not do that.
No.
I left it on heat. So it did not kick in during the air did not kick in. And so when she got there, she said the temperature reading was something like 104 because big metal box sitting in the sun
Right.
problem. So yeah, I walked her through fixing that very quickly over the phone, and thankfully it's not a huge space, and the thing it like cranks out, so it was cooled off in like 5-10 minutes, but still that blast of heat. She's like, dude, it like damn near knocked me over. So yeah, that was.
Oh my god.
Literally, it makes me think, and it's not the same thing, but it makes me think of like, do you remember that terrible TV show where like the earth cracked and then they went into the center and there were dinosaurs?
Oh yeah.
And then like the
Land of the Lost.
I think.
Yeah, Land of the Lost. Yeah, the slee stacks.
Yes. That's what it makes me think. Like they cracked and then they opened the car and it was like so hot. That's what I pictured. Why are all of my references about the center of the earth today?
So that was my terrible human being story. Carry on.
You know you're still an angel in my book, and you can't change that. You can't change it.
You also like you can't help technology sometimes. That's kind of our whole thing.
It's true. Other things that are new. If you're watching us on Facebook Live right now, my hair is like golden orange blonde right now. So I said last week, I was like, hopefully I'm going to get these 4 inches of roots taken care of. And shout out to Beauty is Key Salon. Yes. So I told my hairdresser, I was like, I will wait for you. It's the most intimate like relationship outside of Chelsea that I have is with my hairstylist. I'm like, I will wait for you. I don't care how many months. So I'm doing a journey to ash blonde. So you can't do that all in one step, obviously. So right now it's like a golden blonde. I tell people my muse is Patty Mayonnaise from Doug. If you've ever seen that cartoon, it's phenomenal. So
yes, it is. But secondly, I didn't even expect Stacey's hair to lift as much as it has. I was expecting her, so this is like major kudos to her hairstylist because that color lifted so well. And I was like, she has parts of her roots that are actually already like light blonde. And they're like, I'm extremely impressed with the fact that they got that much lift out of your hair. And because it's usually, could you go from black hair, which Stacey has black hair, to go from that would take about 7 to 8 months worth of like every 6 weeks.
What?
In order for your hair to not break off. Yeah. So the fact that she lifted it and you should be blonde by your next time says a lot.
Wow. Hey. That's exciting.
That's like so Stacey and I saw each other to watch Hamilton and we were like, and she was like, Justina, my hair's orange. And I was like, of course your hair is orange. Like, this is your first lift. Like, of course it's orange. And I was like picturing more like a caramel orange. Like if you could picture like a Werther's Original and a candy, like a orange starburst mixing together. And then she got this beautiful color. And I was like, okay. I also offered her blue shampoo, but she doesn't wash her hair as much as I do. So she doesn't.
Actual black facts. Yes. But can we talk about watching Hamilton? So first of all, it's so good. It's so good.
So for those of you who are listening or watching, and are maybe living under a rock, because I feel like everybody knows about it now, but 2015, Lin-Manuel Miranda's Broadway show, Hamilton, went on Broadway, won all of the Tonys, like did all this stuff. Anyway, during 2016, they spent 4 performances that they recorded it, getting different camera angles, 2 with audiences and 2 without. which is why I found out Stacey, that's why they wanted him to be quiet, because they didn't want it to be a huge difference with laughter and not laughter, because
Smart.
right? So, and they made this cinematic thing. It wasn't supposed to come out until next year, but because of COVID and everybody being home, Disney and Lin-Manuel made a really brilliantly financial deal and released it early, and good for him. But
Right?
like, I've been obsessed with this show for 5 years, so I'm so everybody's on board and they're like loving it. I'm like, yes, love it. And like, I have a couple people who've watched it and they're like, oh, you know what? I'm glad I watched it, so I know what everybody's talking about, but I'm glad I didn't pay for it. And like, it hurts me a little just because I love it a lot, but I'm not gonna like dissuade their opinion. There's this whole thing going on in the world right now where like someone has a different opinion than you and they have to be absolutely wrong and like the worst person ever. And I feel like we all just need to get like to the point where, you know, differences are what makes the world go round and makes it interesting. Maybe we just accept people as their differences. Like, I mean, Stacey and I are both blonde now. Get on board.
Okay. Let them know, Chelsea.
So, Stacey, first, I was trying so hard not to like push my opinion on her, because I have a really bad habit of like, if I love it, I won't even watch like the show. I'll watch them. And I was like, no, I'm gonna watch the show so Stacey can watch it like and really immerse herself. But I watch everything with captions. So I realized right at the beginning, I was like, oh, I can turn them off if you want. But now, after Stacey watched it with captions with me, I've actually told everybody, I'm like, you should watch it with captions because it's a very wordy play. Anyway,
Yes.
so Stacey, tell everybody how you feel about Hamilton.
Oh my word. So when she'd asked me if I wanted captions, usually I'm not a captions person, but I was like, you know what? Let's put it on there because I know there's a ton of like hip hop and rap references. So I wanted to be able to see those. And first of all, the whole thing is amazing for a variety of reasons. Number one, the fact that Lin-Manuel Miranda birthed this thing, like wrote it completely, music, everything. And then all of the different, again, like hip hop and rap references that he put in there. And then just the diverse casting. There was this one video that I saw the other day and someone saw the lady, the actress, is it Philippa Sue?
Philippa Sue.
The little girl saw her and they're the same ethnicity. And so they're like, oh, her name is Eliza. And the little girl's like, no, it's me. And I'm just like, this is why diversity inclusion is so important. Like, it just, and then they went into the little girl's backstory. Apparently she's I don't know, like 3 maybe, something like that, and she had issues with her lungs. So the fact that she's watching a musical with someone that looks like her and she's just like, that's me, like that's me. Done. It was like me last episode with Dave talking about things. I'm just crying. But no, so the fact that you can see people on stage that look like you is huge, like just huge. And all of the singers are just ridiculous. And the fact, with the captions, another reason, it's like, it's pretty much, it's prose, like the way he wrote it, it's poetry. It's phenomenal. And just, that's all I can really say because you need to watch it because of course there are songs, I don't know, like a keyword would be rewind. And my mind was blown at the way they executed it on stage. It's ridiculous. It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so
and
good.
it is universally like good. Like
yes.
It is, they for the nerds out there who like poetry, I mean there are references of iambic pentameter in there.
Yes.
But then literally he uses the like parts of a Biggie Smalls song. So like it's so cool. And so if you haven't watched it, honestly, pay $6, get Disney Plus for a month and see a show that literally like I personally have paid a lot of money to see. So, and from farther away than what you get to see here. That's probably the craziest part is the fact that like you see, so Broadway actors in general are about, I know it's really funny because there's people watching right now and my caption for our show, we're talking about musicals. We'll get there to the caption, guys.
I'm like, what did you write? I have a guess.
They, like, so people are like, come on, just get to the BDSM.
Oh dear.
But the coolest part is that like, like Broadway actors in general are taught to emote to the back of the house. So somebody made a comment about how like all of their reactions are almost too big, that they're not realistic. First off, I'm gonna go ahead and say, well, congratulations. It's not a real play. Like, it's not a real thing. They're not reenacting real life. It's a play. They didn't have Notorious B.I.G. in 1776. Sorry.
Shame on you, America.
Like, that's not how this goes. It's a really cool interpretation of history. Like, it's a story. We're telling a story. It's this whole, fiction, nonfiction.
And that's another thing why I love it, because then even if you're not interested in history, the fact that you have the hip hop and rap component, that alone is going to hook you, and then you're going to want to pay attention and figure out similarities. Like, either it's just grabbing a whole bunch of people that otherwise would not be interested in musical theater.
Absolutely. And so I'm like, so people are like, the emotions are too big, or like specifically when in the second act, Eliza and Hamilton go through a lot. It's very tumultuous times. And there's a point where forgiveness is the main part, and his face is like really, really hard to watch. And I feel like if you were in the theater in the very back row of the absolute balcony, you would still feel that face, even though you can see it close up because it's the movie. But highly recommend seeing it. Stacey's been like talking about it ever since we saw it. I'm like, we can watch it again.
Like, just let me know what your schedule is. I can just like drop by for 3 hours.
Yeah, because it's 3 hours.
It doesn't even feel like it. It's so good. So good. Good. Like,
so should we like update people on our lives? Maybe like let everybody know how my boyfriend is.
oh my gosh, sure. Do we need to take care of business or just refer to that? Okay.
I mean, probably we should take care of some business.
All right. It's time for the
Fake name series of the day.
So the fake name series of the day is what we use to say
the shade.
So instead of using people's real names, we use names that are from the fake name series of the day to hide their identities. But if they heard these stories,
they know who they are.
Whether near or far, Hamilton set a high bar. So we only used like 3 names maybe last week. So we're going to continue with the series Dead to Me,
which is on Netflix, and I described it last week and didn't look it up again this week.
It's fine. So, America, do your homework and listen to last week's episode.
Yeah, right?
Basically, it's this lady who's a widow, and this woman is helping her cope with her grief, and there's lots of twists and turns.
Yes. Also, I'm drinking my favorite LaCroix, which shout outs to Ellen. She loves LaCroix. Ellen, we want to know how your boyfriend is.
Right, but mostly you, but also him.
Is having a favorite LaCroix like having a favorite antibiotic? Like, what's the point?
Favorite?
Listen.
Like, I feel like that's something nobody should have a favorite of.
Okay, but were you the person who said, does LaCroix taste like someone like shout whispering the flavor from
like
down the hall?
You're holding a club soda with half a can of Aquanet sprayed into it while someone is screaming, running by you the name of a fruit. Yeah.
That's it. No, I had someone else who literally was like, when you drink LaCroix, do you like in your head hear like key lime? And then you're like, oh, that's what it tastes like. So I don't actually like the lime flavor. I like the key lime flavor. It tastes better.
Clearly. I feel like this is the same discussion I had with Randy about White Claw.
I like those too. So, but yeah, I like the key lime, and like not every store has them. So when I find them, I tend to buy like 4 little boxes worth at a time, and then I stuff the fridge full. And then my dad's like, "Well, aren't we just white girl ready?" And I'm like, "Well, I am." So yeah. Like right now, there's an entire shelf in our garage garage fridge that is just key lime LaCroix.
Hey, Brian, what's up?
So yeah, let me tell you. Okay, so I kind of teased everybody last week and very just briefly said that me and my boyfriend had sex. But
You want a new name for him?
okay, sure.
We're gonna go with Christopher Doyle.
Christopher Doyle. Ding. So Christopher Doyle and I did it. Sorry, Dad. Hashtag sorry, Dad. So anyway, we did it, and I was kind of talking to Stacy about the style that okay, so let's go back a tiny bit. I have this thing, I've said it on the show several times, I will continue to say it. I think that sex with a new person is like getting a new video game. You don't know the moves, so if you start at level 10, even if you know you're gonna like the level 10 eventually, if you start on level 10, you will die. You have to start on level 1 and learn the moves, and then learn what buttons to push and where to jump and where to leap and where to, buttons. So loosen up my buttons, babe. So
'Cause I'm frontin'. Off the sound to make after finishing a delicious LaCroix.
So I kind of explained it to him the exact same way, which he laughed at me. But I was like,
I guess.
I'm just gonna, God forbid you're listening to this and you're related to me and you're like, I love Chelsea's podcast and I want to be supportive, but I don't want to know about her sexual escapades. That's fine. I'm about to get very descriptive. So maybe just jump forward. And if you're on Facebook Live and you don't want to know, come back later. Come back later.
Right?
So this is the biggest penis I've ever seen in my life.
America, we're finding out at the same time. I need you to know about that fact.
This penis was to the point where I looked at it and I said, it's not gonna fit. That's fine. So
Sarah cannot go in the overhead compartment. You need to check your bag.
yeah, you need to check that bag because that's no carry-on. So Christopher Doyle, like any man who has a very large penis, is pretty darn proud of it. And
BDE.
yeah. So
I became hip to this phrase in the past week.
so the first time we did it, I'm not gonna say it was good sex because I feel like the first time you have sex with somebody, if it's really, really good sex, then that's gonna almost mess with your mind. You gotta figure your shit out. You gotta figure out where it goes what and why. There's tons of levels of sexual exploration and interest. There are people who just want missionary until completion, and that's what they want. There are people who want lots of different positions and lots of different going this from here to here and here. There are people who like to be a little bit more dominant. There are people who like to be a little bit more submissive. There you go, Stacy. Take some notes. And and honestly, and also I'm not shaming anything. You can whatever gets you and your partner mutually off, live your best life. You'll probably be a better person to deal with in society. So have an orgasm. So now, without blasting his entire Christopher Doyle's past, he told me he hadn't had sex in a year, so I'm believing him. I don't know why I would have to not. Right? But
That's different. I'm not experienced, so.
He was with his wife for 14 years total. They were married for 7. So he was with one person for a very long time, and then he was divorced. I am certain, without us having a specific number difference, that he has had sex multiple times since he got divorced, but it had been a year. And I was like, cool. It's been a minute for me too. That's fine. Also, that's not fitting, so figure that out. And so I was like, just slow is best. Slow in general with sex, slow is best. Figure it out, ease into it, and as you get towards the end, you can really pump it. But let's slow in the beginning and work your way to pumping it. That is not what happened, friends. um, there's an episode, I don't know, maybe like 6 weeks ago, Stacey and I discussed the definition of jackhammering.
Yes! Oh.
Yeah. And jackhammering with an extremely large penis, I literally was like, okay, you bruised my cervix. I don't know what to do now. And he's like, he kept being like, come here, get closer so I can like really, and I'm like, where are you going? There's nowhere to go. Like, and he's like, man, I thought you were going to tap out there. And I was like, I should have. Like, so then a conversation needed to happen and happened. And I was like, hey, this is not going to work. Like, we cannot go to that from the beginning to the end. And then he's telling me he's like ready to go for hours. By the way, women don't want you to go for hours. That's
Thank you. I just learned that 2 weeks ago.
7 to 13 minutes is like primo, bro. So
based on statistical research.
And my vagina.
Okay. Thanks for taking one of the details.
So, oh, wait, sorry. Hi, Leah. I love that you're here for the details. So,
for the deep.
She is here for it. So, yeah, no, so like the jackrabbit thing's like, I was like, okay, jackhammer thing's not good. And he's like, well, that's how I get off. And I was like, okay. And in the last minute to 30 seconds, that's fine. But if you want me to be in it for that, you can't have spent the last 20 minutes bruising me. And he's like, oh, okay. Also, there are positions that like you get deeper penetration. And there are like, aren't you glad we had our 4-year anniversary where we talked about sex, Stacey? So we could just really talk about this.
Right? So I could just, where are my pearls? I'm clutching them. Like, also, like, I think some other people are in the home. So I'm like, let me just.
Oh, no. So where I record, there's a vent that goes between the 2 bedrooms. And my mom is watching Downton Abbey right over there. And I've said penis and vagina. So, you know. Good times. So
apparently, well, kind of.
Well, so I sat there and I was like, listen, like, there are a ton of guys. If a guy tells you, oh, I really like doggy style, that means he wants to get as deep as possible, and you know that feels good to him. Great, but like when you have a very, very large penis, you don't necessarily need that kind of penetration. And that was like his go-to, and I was like, no, you will literally break me, and I won't come back. That's how that's gonna go. And he was like, okay. I'm like, you have to give, like, we both have to get used to each other's needs. So like, you're telling me you need this, I'm telling you I need extremely not that. So like, let's meet somewhere in the middle, and like towards the end you can go ham. Now the second time
literally.
The second time was much better. It was slower. Things were going, like, it was more, there was more, it wasn't so, like, I feel like when I say slower, I don't mean like slow motion or shit, but it wasn't like.
Okay, that's what I kind of figured.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
It's more, listen, we weren't at an EDM concert. We were listening to Usher, okay? Like 1996 Usher. So.
Please keep cutting out.
So things were better. I had a really good orgasm, so I was happy, because honestly, that's not something that usually happens during penetrative sex for most women. So, but I was very vocal on where my needs were, and he was vocal on his. We had a really good time, and I was like, okay.
Okay.
The third time was an adventure.
Where did you go?
We were in his truck.
What part?
We're not the back of his truck. He has a very
I
big
didn't
truck.
know.
He has a very big truck. It's like one of those fancy like super cab F-150s. And he was like, hey, I've never done it in my truck. And I was like, all right, let's do it in your truck. Why not?
There's a song, it has like a reggaeton type of vibe.
Do it in your truck.
It's like, I like a man, da na 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 na. I like a man who would do me in his band.
Yes. So it was actually, I think the only reason this worked out is because we had like a teeny tiff, and we were supposed to go somewhere, and he told me he was going to pick me up at at sundown. Well, sundown was like, I mean, it's like summer. So sundown was like 8:30 or whatever. And I was like, okay, so 8:30, and then I didn't hear from him. And then like 10:30 or 10 o'clock, he was like, I'm sorry this is taking so long. I was like, you have to communicate to me because this is not okay. And then he finally
Also, who says sundown? Give me a time.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely verbalized like I need more specific things than that. Like, and so he texted me at like 10, and he's like, sorry this is taking so long. I'm like, what are you even doing at this point? Like, nothing's open this late. I'm annoyed, like, because now not only, okay, so here's the thing about my boyfriend, Christopher Doyle. Ding. So he smokes. I don't. I quit smoking. Great, fine. But like, I'm also like, we're in the beginning of the relationship, so like, I would never meet up looking like this. I do my hair. I put on a cute outfit. I make sure, like, effort. So like, my effort was done and ready at like 8:30, and then like now I'm sitting here. It's 10 o'clock, and I'm kind of annoyed that I'm even in a dress. I'm like, why am I wearing a dress? Just sit at home. Why did I take my expensive makeup and put it on this beautiful face so that I could look hot as hell just to sit at home? Unacceptable. And I'm like, also, like, I could be in pajamas drinking LaCroix.
Hello. You're welcome, America. We are relaxed and comfortable right now. You want to know why you can't see from the waist down? Because short shorts.
I am basically in pajamas right now. You know why? Because I'm at home. And also, I got drunk last night, so I'm a little hungover.
It's funny because for work, I was having all of our calls are video calls. So I had to grab something that was just like, you don't have appropriate shorts on. So it's just like, I have to slide like a crab like this instead of like getting up like a normal human being.
So he finally picked me up, and we did what we needed to do. And then we were driving back, and he was like, you look really hot. And I was like, I know. I'm really jerky. But I was like, I know. You know what time I looked really hot at? 8:30 when the sun went down. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, if we're going to be this thing, if we're going to do this, I'm not going to expect you to be a mind reader. So I'm going to tell you when I'm upset. And if you're not going to communicate with me what time you're going to show up to things, then I'm going to let you know that upsets me. So he's like, okay, so you're upset. And he goes, what do you want to do? Like, obviously it's my bad. And so then I'm like, obviously it's your bad. This is when you say, you're right, Chelsea, I'm wrong, and you have really nice boobs. Like,
I mean, he already said you looked really hot. So it's like, okay, you're on the right path, but let me get you back home.
Specificity. So he literally goes, you're right, Chelsea, I'm wrong, and you do have really nice boobs. And I was like, thank you. And then he's like, so do you want to like get in the back seat and make out? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, okay, well, maybe we should just like not be on a main road in case like something happens. And I was like, oh, something's gonna happen. Meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, something's probably gonna happen. And then yeah, so here's the thing about like sex in a car. I haven't done that in a very, 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 very long time.
Or ever. Sex in a car.
The thing that's nice about that truck being so big is I can literally like could stand up and kind of like bend forward. Like there's enough room in there that, sorry, I'm getting a notification. So I can technically, like, the headroom is not the issue.
That blows my mind. I immediately went to the bed of the truck because I'm like, that just seems feasible.
Yeah, no, we were in the back seat, windows up. That's the way I like it. So,
Thanks, Luda.
thanks, Luda. Yeah, I know. So like first he was sitting and I was on top, and that was a good time. And then he prefers the doggy style again, you know, bruise my cervix right up. And so then we like flipped the seat up so it was completely open. And then
Wait. Which seat?
the back seat, windows up.
It's funny, I didn't even mean to say it so that you
will
would
never
repeat
not
it,
let it go by.
but it worked, right? It's in our contract.
So, okay, so let's say you've got the front seat,
Yes.
back seat.
Okay.
The back seat, this bottom part of the seat can fold up into the wall. And it's split.
Okay.
And it's split in half. So we only folded up one part of it, and then the other part I was like bent over.
Oh. The more you know.
But because I was still a little pissed at him, it was good.
Listen, I've heard this. I've heard
Makeup
people
set,
say.
man.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it. It's
Okay.
just something I feel like I will never understand until it happens someday.
Yeah, it's definitely like one of those. And then afterwards, I was like, "Hi." This is the thing. You get closer, and then like you're figuring your shit out. You're like we're responding to each other's needs, and then it kind of takes that frustration off the table because now you have the closeness and the connection and and he's a really good kisser, so that's fun.
He doesn't jackhammer your mouth with his tongue.
No. Yeah, a friend of mine described fish kissing as one of this girl that he was dating was doing, and I was like, what is that? And he goes, okay, do you know how like if you sprinkle food at the top of the bowl for fish and then they get up there and they're just like so just like yeah,
Not what I was expecting.
Like, that's fish kissing, which I was, and he goes, yeah, no thank you to the fish kissing. So listen, if you're out there and that even remotely sounds like what you're doing, I would change it up.
See, I was picturing like a pucker when you make a fish face.
Oh yeah, no. It's more like when they're eating the food, the like.
That's so funny, because it's like you have to do it like, oh yeah,
that's how they do it.
right?
Listen, year 4, we're getting descriptive.
Listen, I never took notes prior to year 4. Now it's all that I do. Like, I'm gonna be married someday, and I'm just gonna be like, hold that pot.
According to July 13th.
Right. 'Twas a Sunday. Like.
It's the 12th. It was my bad, but
Sorry.
no,
I was like, sorry, that's a Monday.
Guys, with me. So, anyway, so this all happened, and you know, that's fun. But Stacey, tell them what happened with you and why our Facebook Live topic says BDSM.
Right, because why would a virgin ever mention those?
Why
letters?
not, man? Know what you're looking for and what you're into, and that way when you meet your partner, you can ask for it. Because if you get comfortable with what you're comfortable with, then you're comfortable enough to ask your partner for it, then you know you've got 1, trust, and 2, you're gonna have a good time. Because if they're willing to do what you need to get you off, then you're willing to do what they need to get off, and then everybody's getting off, and the world peace.
Everyone's getting. Oh my word! So
Chelsea for president.
yeah,
You get a dildo, and you get a dildo.
Chelsea, no. Listen, I was just gonna say I'll be your secretary because I didn't think I was ready for vice president. Case in point. So I went over to my friend Kaylee's house.
Ding.
And so it was a couple of, we were all like college
Don't worry, I
roommates.
have more LaCroix.
There was four girls total there, including myself. So we were just getting together, like we were college roommates. We're still very
My
close.
girlfriends.
They're through thick and thin. My
Girlfriends.
Yes, girlfriends. What up, Tracy Ellis Ross?
Yeah,
So,
primary
my
hair
hair.
care.
Yes. Patterns. so one of our friends, her name was Lorna. So Lorna was saying that she, with her other group of friends, the one had sent a quiz about what are your BDSM preferences. And so Lorna and I are very much alike. The only difference between the two of us is that when she is in a relationship, she is open to sex. I am not. I'm waiting till marriage. And so, hence the virgin.
What?
So, I know, right? What? That's what virgin means? So, her friend had sent her this quiz. So her
Thank
friend
you for the quiz.
the quiz, please. So her friend had sent her this quiz, and it was about what your BDSM preference is. And she said, y'all, she's like, I took it and I got vanilla, and I was disappointed in myself. I was like, well, why? Because I know I would be the plane of the plane because it's all going to be brand new to me. So I'm going to want, like Chelsea said, to start at level 1,
Yes.
the
Learn
basics, and build up. But granted, I mean, she's more experienced than I am because anyone that's actually done it is more experienced than I am. So she was just like, I just thought there would be more to it. So I just really want to open my mind to like what other possibilities are out there. I was like, interesting. I said, well, I want to take it. So it feels like we're going to get the same thing. And my other friend, Yolanda,
Ding.
she was just like, I feel like you all are not going to be the same. I'm like, well, why not? She was just like, you've got some other stuff in there. She's like, and also you're expressing yourself through your hair and you're just taking all these risks lately, like creatively. She was just like, it's not going to be the same. I'm like, interesting.
I also said that about Stacy. I said Stacy is a executive assistant. Stacy is a manager of time. So I feel like in the bedroom, Stacy's going to be someone who knows what she wants, is going to ask for it, and maybe dominate the situation a little bit.
Possibly. Who knows? I'll call her after it happens. She already knows.
She will. She will.
Part of the contract. And then afterward, I will tweet deflowered. Like, there's a whole plan in place. So I took the quiz. It was an extensive quiz. I think it took me like 15, 20 minutes, something like that. And
I also took the quiz. It is, and it is extensive. Stacy sent it to me.
Right, because we joked, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Like, Chelsea took, yes, once again, Freaky Friday, all 2020. So Chelsea took one for the team by ruining her search history when, asking questions about let's talk about sex 2 weeks ago. So with me taking this quiz, I'm like, well, there goes my search history. So I took it, and so it gives you like all of the different types of, I guess, BDSM, which there's a ton. I had no idea. And even some of the questions, I was like, what? Why would anyone do that? But then some that were also did seem far out there, I was surprised at my thought process with it, which I can go into. So they give you your results, and there's honestly, if I were to take a guess, like maybe 20 different categories. And it shows you the percentage of each one. So I figured my 100% would be vanilla. Well, vanilla was 99%. My 100% was switch. So with their
Hey.
First of all, prayers for Will and Jada.
What?
I said, first of all, prayers for Will and Jada and their entanglement.
Are they not okay?
Oh, girl, listen, this is when I have to remind myself that
I'm sorry, have you not been on social media for the last 48 hours?
No, I have not.
Just
I've
you're gonna
been
want to
working.
just follow the hashtag entanglement.
Yes. Jada revealed that she had a situationship with someone else, maybe like, yeah, well, they've been married. And so she brought herself to the red table, because usually they show the red table.
Right.
People. And she said, I need healing. I'm going to bring myself to it. So it was just her and Will at the red table. And Will's like, okay, I'm playing the role of you. I'm playing the role of Jada and asking you things. So it's like, what happened with this mutual friend of ours, August Alsina? And she was just like, well, like he was a family friend and all this stuff. And we had, you know, an entanglement. And Will's like, entanglement? So everyone's just like, oh, like, are you seeing anyone? It's just like, I'm in an entanglement. Like, we'll go down that rabbit hole together after the show.
Wow.
So back to Switch. Ooh, na, na, na.
Also, by the way, how many times has everybody thought Will was the one that was going to be the cheater in that situation?
Right. But also, you have to listen to the whole thing. It's
We'll talk about it.
Lots of layers. It's an onion, because don't put that on cake. So for Switch, it says switches like to, well, switch. Always taking a dominant or top position is not for them. Neither is always taking a submissive or bottom position. Some prefer to switch with the same partner, right here. Others have a dominant play partner and a submissive play partner. But in either case, they do not fit one endpoint of the spectrum. Switches typically match well with other switches. So, and then for number 2 was vanilla, which is, you know, you just enjoy regular standard missionary sex. Nothing wrong with that, as long as you both are having fun. So my third one at 67% was voyeur. And it says, voyeurs enjoy watching the nakedness or sexual activity of other people. First of all, your girl don't watch porn, so just get that out your system right now. Keep that energy over there. America. It says,
you can send it over here, it's fine.
Oh, not just, it says definitions vary with respect to whether those being watched should be aware of this or not. Voyeurs typically match well with exhibitionists. And then my next one, 66%, my next one was dominant, and then 65% was exhibitionist. With exhibitionist, it says they enjoy showing their naked body or sexual activity to other people. Definitions vary with respect to whether those being shown this should be looking for such an encounter or not. So it's just like, I immediately thought of a situation, or a scenario rather, which was ages ago.
I'm wondering if it's the same situation I'm thinking of.
No, it's not. Guaranteed it's not. So that's what I'm like, what's the situation I'm talking about? So it was ages ago, when I was actually in Orlando, Florida, and the company I was working with transitioned from Michigan to Orlando. I was not going to stay with the company. I was going to take my buyout, but it moved, like I helped transition like the next team on board for like 3 months in Orlando. That was hell for me because your girl loves snow. So I was in Orlando, Florida for the entire winter season. And we would and I was working midnight. So we would only keep the Weather Channel on. You just saw Michigan getting pelted with snow. And I was just like crying, like, I don't want to be here. And they're like, it's 80 degrees and you're in Orlando, Disney's down the street. I'm like, I'm not happy. So bad. And so there was this one guy that worked there. His name was Abe. Actually, there was a guy named Abe that worked there who was the sweetheart, but we're using this for a pig that worked there. So,
Ding.
yes, Abe, ding. So Abe was a pig and a jerk, and all the time he would always come up to me and be like, hey, you know, like, when are you gonna make me dinner? When are you gonna invite me over? Blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, ew, gross.
Sexual harassment in the workplace.
And the very first time I met him, so I got hired through a temp agency. And so I was training with these other 2 guys who like were my mentors. And so like, that's when I first met Abe. He came up to me. He's just like, ooh, you're pretty, blah, 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 looking me up and down. And like each of my mentors, they said, we will never leave you alone with him. And they said, don't ever get caught being alone with him. And I'm like, so you know this guy's ridiculous, but he's got friends on the inside that are always going to watch him, like, you know, have his back. So the first time I met him, he was just like, oh, you're working like with those 2 in their department. And he took out this wad of cash and he was just like, when you're ready for this, it'll be waiting for you. Just let me know when you're ready to work in my department. I'm like, you're a freaking pig. Right. So I'm just like, oh. And I told my mentors that. They're just like, we've tried to get him fired, and they're like, just, even if like you see him going down the hallway, they're like, just leave. I was like, that's ridiculous that that's even happening. But anyways, so we moved to Orlando. And so people, over in Dubai actually was where our other main hub was. And I would do the expense reports for the team, and they were talking about how like, oh yeah, it's really like westernized over there, and we'll all go to the pool together. And I'm like, whoa, no, I cannot go to the pool with this team. They're like, why not? It's really cool. I'm like, I can't be in a bathing suit with like my supervisors that are males and then go into a meeting the next day and be all seriousness. I'm like, that's just the mental block that I have. Like, I can't do that. So when I was in Orlando, I couldn't sleep. I was working midnight, so I'd sleep during the day, and I couldn't sleep during the day. So I was like, well, if I'm not going to be able to sleep, I'm going to sleep by the pool. So like, and I would make sure it was while Abe was during his day shift so that he wouldn't see me, because I was terrified, because I didn't have like a spouse or anyone down there with me. It was just myself in my hotel room. So I was by the pool like one of the days. And so I went into work. And so one of my other like supervisors, Officer Hernandez, came up to me. And so me and him, we were really cool. And so he was one of the supervisors, but I didn't report to him. So it's not like he was my supervisor. So we had a real cool relationship. So he came up to me and he said, hey, I need to be very honest with you about something. I was like, oh, he's just like, yeah, like, I'll let you know I'm going out for my next cigarette break. I was like, all right, so go out with him. He's just like, I just need to be honest with you. I said, okay. He was just like, remember, like, all of us were talking about, oh, like, you know, going to the pool with different people, blah, blah, blah. I said, yeah. He goes, well, I went out for my room. He was just like, I'm right by the side door that's by the pool. He was just like, so I went out for a cigarette. I turned. He's like, I saw you sleeping by the pool. I said, okay. He's just like, so I kind of understand why you don't want anyone to see you by the pool, because got a lot going on there. I was just like, and legit in my mind, I was just like, well, thank you. Like,
oh my gosh, thanks.
So in terms of like the exhibitionist thing, like part of me is always just kind of like, oh my goodness, like if someone ever caught me doing that, first of all, like, you're welcome, because no one can picture me doing anything like that. So I could totally understand why the exhibitionist part would be there for me. Second part, quickly, in terms of like when it would ask you questions in there, like, would you ever be tied up or something like that? And I did put that I would absolutely be open to that, because I know because I've learned during this lockdown period that, number one, I've been forced to like look at myself in the mirror and just like deal with all of my flaws head on. And one of the biggest things is that for personal projects, for me, I start them, but I don't finish them. I legit have 6 books on my nightstand that I've started and have not finished. One of the books is from 5 years ago. Like I don't finish things, and it's ridiculous. And for me, when something is out of my comfort zone, then I'm just kind of hesitant to do it, or maybe I'll do baby steps, but eventually it'll phase out and I'll quit. So then I'm just like, I guess I'm a terrible Christian, because you're supposed to walk by faith and I'm scared of faith. Like, I'm just a fraud, like going through it. Welcome to my lockdown.
Welcome to humanity.
Listen, quarter life crisis, I'm going blonde. So in terms of like starting things and not finishing them and being out of my comfort zone, it's something I'm not comfortable with. So with me, I was just like, I think it would be a benefit for me to be tied up, because then I couldn't walk away from it, and I would be forced to explore this feeling that maybe I'm scared of like experiencing.
You're forced to experience other feelings too.
That's what I'm saying. Where otherwise, thanks, Dave. Whereas otherwise, like I could shy away from it and be like, no, I'm good. Let me just take care of you. I could absolutely see myself doing that, because that's what I do in my personal life in terms of things. I ignore myself. I'm like, what can I do to help you? Whereas if I'm forced to take it, I feel like that would be ideal for me.
One of the first experiences after I lost my virginity, very long time ago, but he was like, you gotta let go. Like, he's like, you gotta let go. You're in your head. And I was like, I don't know. We're here. I'm doing it. I don't think I'm in my head. And he actually took his t-shirt and tied me to the bed, just my hands, and then blindfolded me. And it was like,
whoa,
because literally then you don't have any distraction. You are just focused on what is happening to you and the feelings. And it was great.
I never
Yeah.
thought about the blindfold component.
Yeah.
So, and here's the thing, like when you were talking about Stacy and being all, very in control, yada, yada, in her day-to-day life, a good percentage of the time, those are the people that want to surrender control.
That's true. That's very true. That's why dominatrixes are usually taking care of executives of companies.
Exactly.
Because they run the world during their day, so they want somebody to beat the crap out of them with a pole at the end of the night.
First of all,
Yeah.
I don't think I want that. But
No. But yeah.
Interesting.
So I took the same quiz Stacy did, and I got some of the same answers Stacy did. I didn't have any 100%. So the fact that you got 100%, Stacy.
Did you send me yours? You didn't send me yours. I have all these pictures.
Yes, I did. I sent them to you.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. I was looking at all the other things you sent me.
So I got 299%. My 199% is switched, like Stacy, which is true. I'm very I depends on my mood. Some days I want to tie somebody up. Some days I want to be tied up. So which on here they call that rope bunny, which is 63%.
Oh.
So my other 99% is brat, which on here, ooh, that is tiny writing. Brats are in essence naughty submissives. They find disobedience it's very accurate.
You have no idea how hard I'm laughing right now. No.
They find disobedience a form of playfulness rather than letting the dominant down, and require a compatible dominant who will not only teach them a lesson, but also accept that any number of lessons might still not necessarily change this behavior. So brats typically match with brat tamers. What's really funny is I'm also 96% brat tamer.
Right? That's what I saw too. And I'm like, maybe that plays to the switch thing.
Yes, I 100% think it does. And basically the brat tamer, this is the same exact thing, except they said they will take no offense. They find basically dominants who enjoy handling bratty submissives. Basically, I like playful sex. I like somebody to be like, get on the bed and do this, and me to go, what are you gonna do if I don't? That kind of play is super fun for me. So, and I like either way. The other one that I got was degradee. So I think that's how you say it, but
yeah.
Degradees like to be degraded and humiliated by their play partners, either by acted upon in degrading way or being forced to do things that they consider degrading. So here's the thing. I was only 65%. Mine is more I like dirty talk. And I think that's where the underlying, I cannot stand sleeping with somebody who's quiet and just grunting. That's no fun.
Oh, interesting. I never thought about that.
I want somebody but it's I think it's about communication. I want to be yeah, you like that? What do you want me to do next? Let's do that. And if somebody wants to be ooh, yeah, are you a dirty little slut? I'll be hell yeah, I am. That. Oh yeah. In that instance, you call me that in the street, we're going to have a problem. But in the sheets, yeah.
What did the poet say from Usher's Yeah?
I want a lady in the streets, and I'll free the sheets. But the best one is their description of rope bunny. Rope bunny likes to be tied up, restrained using rope and/or other attributes, chains, cuffs, spreader bars, etc. Now, mind you, I've never used a spreader bar, but they put it in that one movie, and I was ooh.
What's a spreader bar?
It's literally it's handcuffs on either of your ankles, and then it's a bar that extends and keeps your legs open. And then the guy can flip it and flip you. I love Stacey's facial reactions. It's great.
Again, the poet Luda. Whips and chains, handcuffs, make a little booty up with my elf.
I'm telling you, that song is my jam. Whether for sexual enhancement, for art, or just for fun, they enjoy being totally at the mercy of their partners. So
I got 63% rope bunny.
Yes. You got 63% rope bunny too? I definitely, now what's interesting about this, I do prefer if in that situation that I'm the one who's tied up. But I have dated a guy who likes to be tied up. He was into the kind of like, Dave, are we okay still?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
He's like, yes, we are.
No, I honestly, at this point, I'm really, really sad you guys didn't come to Kink Ball with us last year.
Oh, listen, come on. You know I wasn't ready ever. The whole time.
The guy would like, give me a name, Stace. What's this guy's name?
His name is Enrique.
Ding. Enrique he had kind of a higher powered job. It was a high stress job, and so he liked it's really good that you use fake names. He liked to be tied to this like chaise lounge style. It was like a papasan chair, but it was longer, and so he would like to be like tied to the top of it, and then he would, and then we'd do it. And then, he wanted me to slap him in the face, tell him it was terrible, and then walk away. Guys are weird sometimes, but it's kind of hot in the moment. Like, plus, if you're like had a really bad day at work, and then this guy's like, yeah, slap me across the face. I'm like, cool, I'm about to get a lot of stress relief out of this shit. Like, did I blow your mind with that a little bit, Stacey? I'm sorry.
Do you remember high school cheerleaders? A little bit, a lot of bit, like a lot of it.
Yeah, a lot of it. No, like there was one time where he had already like handcuffed himself before I got there, and then
whatever, he didn't show up.
Honestly, no, he probably would have loved it. Like if I'd have left him a text message that said you deserve this or something, he probably would have loved it. So but no, I got there and he didn't even like, the whole point was that he had to like watch and not touch, and it was just me and a toy, and then he watched, and then like guys like some guys, I'm not saying all guys. That's why it's interesting, because I had a conversation with some of my very good friends who are married, and the conversation was whether or not, because we're getting there, apparently this is just like 4 years in, we're just talking about all the sex. I'm
getting married soon, because this is a lot.
I was talking about how depending on what guys eat, their cum tastes different, and so, and it can be like if they are dehydrated and probably like drank too much beer, it can be very salty. And if they've like ate a lot of like if they ate a lot of citrus, it's fine, you know? Like
I feel like that's like the male kind of sort of equivalent, but not really, since we also have fluids, is like if you're breastfeeding, like whatever you intake, like that's what's gonna come out. But same with
exactly
fluid then.
So I also
a side note, when we watched Hamilton together, Chelsea, she said she tried not to look at me, but so many times she would just go, "You're so smart," when I would catch up on certain references.
Because she is. But
also, my insides taste like cake batter.
So, but yeah, I was talking to my friends, and 2 of my married friends in this group of like 7 of us, 2 of them were like, "Oh, I've never ever even tasted his cum," and I was like, and I was like, "You didn't? What? This is your husband?" And they're like, "You don't know what he doesn't miss," and I was like, I think he misses it. So then it incited this whole conversation about whether or not, and they're like, "That's gross. That's just not something like I want to do." And I was like, "Listen, I'm not going to tell you should do it or anything, but I'm saying like if you like really messed up one day, that would be a good consolation. I'm sorry."
And when you're done, say, forget you and your stupid flowers when you're wrong. You're welcome. That's how it's
like,
done.
But then I'm like sitting there
It's a
trying to figure it
dominant
out
way.
because like if you're going down on a guy and he's like close to finishing, I was like, what do you do? And she goes, oh, I make him tell me he's close to finishing, and then I stop. And I'm like, what? So now I'm kind of feeling like I got cheated out on the like, that was an option. So listen, and I was like, well, I would highly encourage you making your husbands happy and doing that every once in a while. And then she's like, well, I highly encourage you telling people you don't do that, and then you don't have to do that.
That's an interesting conversation.
It very much was. I was like, okay, I mean, like, I'm not judging them for not doing it. I guess I was a little bit, but like, I bet, but I'm like, it's a good time. Like, how you know you won. This is the competitive part of me.
You're like, ask your husband, and he'll tell you that I won.
No!
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's interesting.
But I was like, okay, there's just a bunch of women out there who just don't, okay, all right. All right. This is not the life I lead.
Oh, this is the year of notes, y'all. Just taking them. Just
learning things. We're telling things. Listen, we've gotten some people who asked, like, what are you going to do, Chelsea? You have a show called Reasons Why I'm Single, and you're not single. Well, I still am on my taxes, so calm down.
listen. Who's going to help with this mortgage? Like,
me, and me.
hello. Me, myself, and I. Hey, B.
Anyway, I hope we haven't traumatized you too much with the listening and the stories and the all
I mean,
the
I'm
stuff.
Okay. Or are you talking to America?
I am talking to America. Oh, so I'm very quickly, because I had like more specific ones for the BDSM on mine. It was like 62% submissive, 62% sadist, which means that you enjoy inflicting pain. Isn't wrong. And
I mean, apparently not if you slap someone in the face. That's what they wanted. Right, because that's what they wanted.
But I've also had people slap me in the face. I'm not okay. Like, that's not my thing. Like, yeah, like, that's not my, like, afterwards I was like, ooh, no. Like, that one guy I dated, and he was like, this is what I need. And I was like, cool, that's not gonna work. 55% dominant, 53% experimentalist.
Ooh.
Experimentalists want to have tried it all. An open mind and an insatiable curiosity are the key features, and they will rarely form an opinion before they have gathered firsthand experience. I am a hands-on learner.
I was 11% that one.
There's one that you were that I was like nowhere near on yours. The voyeur. I'm 2% voyeur.
What? Yes, 6 to 7%. And 66% dominant, 65% exhibitionist, 63% rope bunny, 63% submissive, 55% slave, but I get where they're coming from with that, but then 54% mistress.
Oh my gosh.
And then 46% brat tamer.
See, listen, it takes all kinds to read the world. It was a really interesting quiz. There were some things that I was like, ooh, no. Like,
yeah, the degraded ones, I was like, never. Like, both give and take. I was like, I can't.
Would you ever act like a child? That stuff's not my jam.
Not at all.
Yeah, like the other ones that I got, like nothing. My 1% were owner, pet, non-monogamous, and then my 2% were voyeur, exhibitionist, and age player. And then things went higher from there.
For pet, I got 42%.
Really?
But I think it's because, like, you know, like being told you're pretty and like petted. So I'm thinking like back massage in my mind.
Yeah. I guess
so I was just like, oh, behind the ears.
See, and all I thought of was episode 112, The Plug.
Oh no, that's not where my mind went. Oh no. Because they gave like examples.
If you're watching or listening right now and you haven't listened to episode The Plug, it is either 112 or 114. I mess it up every time. But it is one of my favorite episodes that we have because Stacey's reactions are the best.
Similar to what you have been hearing.
Yeah,
today.
but Stacey was not prepared in the least for it. Meanwhile, this was Stacey's idea today. We've
Freaky Friday 2020.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for listening. We love it. We are here for you. If there's a topic you want us to look up and have Stacey react to, that's the
or
fun
guess.
thing to do.
That's been the theme.
Or
guess
what it is. Send us a word. We'll have Stacey guess what it means. I'll ruin my search history for you guys. I have no problem with it.
I ruined my search history with this quiz. So
we're gonna get weird ads for the next week, and we are here for it. Well, I mean, maybe they're for it, but
watch my pastor call me this week. Hey, well, how did you find it?
Be sure to go on to however you listen and rate and review us. We would love 5 stars. We would really love a review. That's how people know whether they should listen to the shows. Make sure that you tell your friends that we're awesome and pretty and single.
Right. Look at your girl. But I'm not going to have sex with
When's your hair appointment, Steve?
July 27th.
Okay, so my hair appointment's the 15th. So I will have blonder. Yeah, all this root is bye-bye. We're going to be blonde again, baby.
Hey.
So we'll in the next few weeks, in the upcoming weeks, Stacey and I will be blonde and beach ready and Bahama Mama ready and
come on, Bahama Mama.
But thank you guys so much for listening. Thanks for checking us out live. Like our stuff. We're on Facebook at Reasons Why I'm Single. We're at Instagram and Twitter at RWIS Podcast. And if you just want to send us an email and say, what up, we're reasonswhypodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. That's Stacey.
That's Chelsea.
And this is Reasons Why I'm Single.
We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.